to introduce you to one of our eminent guests who is always working for welfare of students. She is none other than our Honorable Dr. Sunita Magre ma'am, IC Director, Thane Subcampus of Mumbai University. Dr. Magre ma'am has imparted her contribution in the field of education since last 25 years. She has been worked as a guide for B.Ed, M.Ed, M.Phil and PhD students as well. Dr. Magre ma'am was keenly involved in the UGC's major research projects. Ma'am has written many research papers. To be specific, she has written 56 research papers. Management techniques for imparting quality of research education, new methodology, and NAC souvenir, the role of IQAC in re-accreditation are some of those. Ma'am has organized and participated in many seminars, conferences, and workshops. Workshop on research methodology and statistical aspect of research held at Aurangabad, national level workshop on the role of IQAC in re-accreditation held at Dhule are few of those. She has worked as guide for teachers eligibility test. Her contribution to self-learning material is huge. Ma'am has worked as an editor, course writer, translator, and resource person, and as a course coordinator too. It's our great pleasure to have such a versatile personality amongst us. I request Honorable Dr. Sunita Magre ma'am to enlighten us with her thoughts. Honorable Dr. Sunita Magre ma'am.
दिसते सगळ्यांना?
हो मॅम, दिसतीये मॅडम, स्क्रीन दिसतीये.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for inviting me in this 2-day online national seminar sponsored by NAC. The topic of the national seminar is Emerging Trends in Educational and the Research Quality. It is organized by the IQAC cell, Adarsh Shikshan Prasarak Mandals, Shri Bapu Sahib D.D. Vispute College of Education in collaboration with the NAC. Now, for this seminar, Principal Dr. Seema Kamble gave me the topic, the recent trends in the qualitative research. Now, in that topic, the recent trends in qualitative research, I make a research, whatever it is, the qualitative or the quantitative, but I have made a little change, that is the recent trends, research trends in the new normal, whether it is qualitative or whether it is quantitative. So in the new normal period and this pandemic situation, what are the new researches we have to find out? We have to study on that new researches. So what are that topics? So let us clarify the theme or what is mean by the new normal. What is mean by new normal? New normal means what? When you go through the newspaper, various articles related to this pandemic situation, COVID-19, various research papers on the COVID-19. So in that research papers, you found the new theme, that is the new normal. It is not the new, but it is old, but it is the new normal, means every time it is a new. So that's why it is a new normal. So what is new normal? The first for this term, new normal, it is used in or appeared in the 2008 at the time of financial crisis to refer to the dramatic economic, cultural, and the social transformation that caused precarious and the social unrest impacting collective perception and the individual lifestyles. Means what is your individual lifestyles during the financial crisis, during some cultural crisis, during some social changes. So that time we use the term new normal. So it is starting in the 2008. Now, at present situation, the same term, that is a new normal, it is used in the COVID-19 pandemic. Why it is used? To point out how it is completely invested and completely invested and transformed undebatable pivots of the human life, such as our professional identity, our economic conditions, our work culture, our family culture, various organization work culture, our children educations, various management. So how the radical revision of the traditional ways, practices, and the various skills. You have to use various skills, various new practices due to this pandemic situation, and how you have to manage, or we have to manage things. So that's why this term is used, new normal. Now, in the new normal situation, here I mention the one of the aim of the research topics. It is not the aim of my research or any other studies, but it is a holistic approach of the aim of research at the present situation, COVID-19. When you go through the studies or this situation, present situation, various environment, behavior of the people, various policy. So I think this is my observation. Number of the people don't know what are their rights, what are their duties, what are their responsibilities towards the nation, towards the society, towards the family also. Many of the people, they are only working for the betterment of the family, but only earning of the money is not the betterment of family. When you only earn the money, but you didn't utilize the time with your family member, then what are the use of your earnings? What are the use of your earnings? Secondly, many of the peoples don't know what are the rights, and the Indian Constitution have provide the various rights to each and every citizen. But we don't know what are our constitutional rights. And I studied and I observed the questions which was, or which is in the present situation, arise in the present situation. So you will getting the answer of that question in your constitution only. Because the Indian Constitution is the biggest, largest world constitution. And every solution, every problem of the solution is given in our constitution. So that's why I feel that's why I make to protect, to aware, to protect, to promote the constitutional rights of every Indian, at least to equality. Now, in this pandemic, every person have the experience about the behavior, about the equality. So that's why I wrote to aware, to protect, to promote the constitutional rights of every Indian to equality. And our second national aim is to provide and to promote the basic education, at least basic education. When we discuss about the globalization, in the era of globalization, or we compare our education to the Europe countries' education, so this is the situation. कि in our country, number of the states and number of the villages in that state, number of the districts, they didn't provide the basic education of our children. So that's why I mentioned these two aim of the research topics. It is not the aim of research, it is the research topics. So first is to aware, to protect, and to promote the constitutional rights of every Indian to equality. And second one, to protect and promote and fulfill at least basic education. So what is basic education? You know the definition of basic education. We all of know the definition of basic education. So we cannot go in detail about what is basic education. So our main theme of today's my lecture topic is what are the new normal research themes, or what are the topics you have to study in the new normal through the qualitative as well as the quantitative methods. So here I mentioned some of the themes. There are a lot of themes, but I club it in 6 main areas. So my first, that 6 main areas are: first, the teaching and learning. It is one of the themes. Second, the constitutional rights. Third theme is the disaster management. Fourth is the gender and school. Fifth is the inclusive education. And last is the governance. I make these main themes for doing the research. And you can take any one of the themes, because when you take one of the theme, so in one of the theme, suppose you are taking teaching and learning, and the teaching and learning, when you take, so under the teaching and learning, there are the various sub-themes. So which sub-themes you want to take, so you have to study it. So first, let's take the first theme, that is the teaching and the learning. We all are the teacher educators, researcher, and we know about the teaching learning process. Now, I categorize teaching and learning, this theme, I categorize 6 sub-themes. What are that 6 sub-themes? Under teaching and learning, teacher is one of the sub-theme, learner is another sub-theme, curriculum, instruction, evaluation, and the learning outcomes. So I mentioned 6 sub-themes under the main theme of teaching and learning. Now, under these sub-themes, suppose we take the teacher. Teacher is our main sub-theme. Main theme is teaching and learning. Now, first sub-theme is the teacher. Under the teacher, there are the various aspects. So, which aspect you want to study? So, here I mentioned only 3. There are a lot of aspects. So, here I mentioned 3 sub-aspects, or the 3 aspects under the umbrella of teacher. Now, the first and very, very important, that is the quality of teaching. So, teacher is related to the teaching, but what is the quality of teaching of that teacher? Second is teaching strategies. And third is the learner evaluation. Now, under the teacher, so quality of teaching. So under the quality of teaching, the quality of teaching is related to the various levels when the teacher is a primary teacher or a secondary teacher or higher secondary teacher or degree college teacher or university teacher or the global teacher. So you think on what type of the teacher you want to select it. There are the various types: primary, secondary, higher secondary, university teacher, college teacher, and the global teacher also. So under the quality of teaching, suppose you have to take a primary teacher, because the quality of teaching is starting from the best. So the quality of teaching, when you give the good quality at the primary level, so definitely you will get the good output at the higher education. Definitely you make a scientist at the higher education. Definitely you make the various engineers at the higher education. Definitely you make the good teachers at the higher education. But it starts from the primary level. So what is the quality of teaching? This is a very big question. Quality of teaching. Quality of teaching means, I think, when your language, your examples, your narration, your explanation about the content, which is relevant to the content and which is very much understood to your student. So I think that is the quality of teaching. When you are using the very big words and your student did not understand the meaning of that word, so according to my knowledge, I prefer that is not say it's a good quality of teaching. The teacher language, the teacher behavior touches the students of the heart. When he or she touch the student's heart, so definitely that is the quality of teaching. Because when you touch your students like your language, your students like your behavior, your students like the examples, whatever to give, your explanation, your narration, and they understood very well. So definitely that class is full of students. And that time we can say that the quality of teaching. Definitely you can use the various teaching aids. It is not necessary to use a technology. When you use the technology, means you have the quality of teaching. No, never. Whatever the situation, according to the situation, you have to teach in every situation, and you have to connect. Your heart is connect to your student heart. So that is the quality of teaching. Now we'll turn to the next topic, that is the teaching strategies. Now the teacher use various teaching strategies. So what are the teaching strategies? You are going to the class and start your lecture. So this is one of the strategies. Some of the teachers going to the class, open the book, read the books and start the teaching. Some of the teacher going to the class, then using a big educational aids, various technology. That is one of the teaching strategies. In some of the school, having the whiteboard having the overhead projector, having the fixation of the PCs. Everything is there. A fully furnished classroom, fully technological classroom. We can say that is the virtual classroom, and start the teaching. It is one of the strategies. But this teaching strategy, when it is effective, when your student involved in your teaching process. So without involving the students, your teaching strategy is not effective. So you can use number of the teaching strategies, but involvement of your student is very, very important. Now, come to the next point, that is the learner evaluation. What is learner evaluation? How will you evaluate your learner? As per your subject. So I am a teacher, I'm going to the class, teach my topic. I am a science teacher, I am a mathematics teacher, I am a language teacher. So according to that, suppose you have to teach one of the poem, student understood very well, and you have to take one of the assignment. Then you have to evaluate. Those students are giving the answer of all the questions. So he is a good student according to that teacher. But according to me, my experience didn't allow that student is a very good student. Learner evaluation means how the student involvement, how many percentage of the student involvement in your lecture. Because when you take the assignment or any examination, students just muck up the question, write the answer, and take the full marks. So that is not the evaluation. What is evaluation? Suppose you have to finish that poem, and on the spot, you have to say that, now brief the poem or create a group, and what is the major theme of that poem. Now, according to that major theme, you have to distribute the students in a group and give the presentation. Second thing, how many words, difficult words, and what is the meaning of that words. And the student use that word in a different way in a local language. So that time it is the evaluation. Only giving and taking the examination and declaring the result, it is not the learner evaluation. Then very important in the language, the grammatical mistake. Now in the present situation, in technological situation, thank you, they write TY. Good morning, GM. So this is not the language. This is not the language. So student know the perfect spelling, know the perfect pronunciation. So this is about the learner evaluation, about the language. When it is related to the science, take it to the various projects, involve the students.
हो मॅडम आवाज येत नाही. हॅलो हॅलो मॅडम हॅलो हॅलो
शेअरिंग गेलं.
कोणीतरी स्क्रीन शेअरिंग सुरू केलं. एक मिनिट मॅडम, मी त्यांची महेंद्र कांबळे सरांनी स्क्रीन शेअरिंग केले. मी त्यांची हे काढते म्हणजे तुम्हाला शेअरिंग करता येईल. हा मॅडम.
झालं?
ओके मॅडम, हा काढली त्यांची स्क्रीन शेअरिंग.
दिसते तुम्हाला माझं शेअरिंग?
नाही दिसत मॅडम अजून.
एक मिनिट. आता?
हो, आता शेअरिंग, हा येस मॅडम दिसतंय.
So we are at the learner evaluation. Now second sub-theme is the learner. Now according to the in teaching learning process, the learner is very, very important. Now the learner, here I mentioned the three aspects or the three areas of the learner. There are the number of the areas, but I mentioned only three very, very important areas. So what are that areas? That is the learning style, medium of instruction, child behavior. So learning style, each learner have its unique style. Means in the learners, you have to study the developmental and behavioral effect of the teaching learning process to the learner. That's why I mentioned the learning style, child behavior, and the medium of instruction. So in the learning style, so which learning style is preferred by the learner? There are the various learning styles. So he prefer autocratic learning style, democratic learning style. In democratic, there is the group discussion, presentation. So these are the learning styles. So which learning style prefer the learners? So according to their learning style, teacher should cooperate with the learner and give the preference to the learner. Now the child behavior. So what factors affect the learning behaviors of the learner? That is the child behavior. So in that child behavior, you can study the various topic under the some of the external and internal environment, teaching strategies, multiple intelligence. So these are the topic which is taken by the researchers, or you can take as the researchers and do the research work on that topic. And in this pandemic situation, so child behavior, it is a very old topic, but at the time of this pandemic or at the present pandemic situation, the child behavior is totally changed. So why it is changed? What are the causes of changing the behavior? Which program is required for their behavior? Which program is required for their personality development? Which factors is affect on their behavior? So you can study this kind of the topics for your research work. And very important topic, that is the medium of instruction. Now in India, there are a lot of states, and every state have its own language. That's why the medium of instruction is very, very important. In Maharashtra, various medium of instruction. English medium is a common medium. Some schools are Hindi medium, some schools on Urdu medium, some schools in Marathi medium. So which medium of instruction students were preferred? So because the medium of instruction is very powerful, powerful strategy to collect the information. When you want the perfect information, when you collect the data in a very relevant manner. So that time medium of instruction is very playing a very important role. That's why I have suggested these three topics for the learners. Now let's go to the third theme, third sub-theme, that is the curriculum. Now in the curriculum, in teaching learning process, curriculum is the main source. So in curriculum, it is the integration. When you study the new educational policy 2020 upcoming policy, now in that policy, so integrated courses have the much more importance. Integration, collaboration. So these are the very important part. Then thinking skills. Here it is higher order thinking, whatever it is, but at least thinking skills and the collaborative learning. So these three part is very important in the curriculum. For example, I arise one question. So how is the curriculum able to contribute achieving learning outcomes? Suppose this is the one of the question. How is the curriculum able to contribute achieving learning outcomes? So for this type of the research question, I think my answer is the thinking skills or higher order thing or various skills, thinking skills. So in that, so your thinking skill, so which kind of the thinking skill you have to study? One of the part on that skill and start your study. Then integration. Various courses are integrated. That's why in the new University Act, it is the interdisciplinary study. Why interdisciplinary study? The various subjects are interrelated to each other. So that is the interdisciplinary study. Now in that curriculum, my second question is, how is the curriculum responsive or relevant to the learner? How is the curriculum is responsive and relevant to the learner? When the curriculum is the localized curriculum, you have to study the geographical area of your curriculum. The same syllabus you cannot finalize for each and every state. Some of the people says ki all over Maharashtra same syllabus, but can we provide the same facility for our student? And we provide the same facility, so that time it is easy. But when we do not provide the facility, so that time it is very difficult. And in the curriculum also, the language is very important. Be thinking, when my child is going to the abroad or he wanted to go to the study in Europe, so that's why English is required. And we take the admission, our children's admission in the English medium school. And the result is he did not understand English, he did not understand Marathi, and he did not understand local language. So the language is very important. Now let's come to the next slide. That is the instruction. It's one of the theme, that is the instruction. Now under the instruction, again, three sub-themes. I have mentioned three sub-themes. That is the classroom size, learning material, and the learning resources. Now under the theme instruction, so which are the strategies to enhance the teaching and learning process? Why I'm thinking about the classroom size? See, this pandemic situation, our school structure is 50 students or 100 students in one class. Now, at present, is it possible to teach the student? It's not possible. That's why you think on the classroom size. Then the learning material. Which learning material? Whatever the learning material you have to provide. So, according to your classroom size, you should provide the learning material and the learning resources. Suppose we are on online teaching, the learning resources. Those who are not attend that time of the class, so should we provide the video clip? If we provide the video clip, have the student access of that net? How our government provide the internet facility to each and every student, to each and every teacher? So this is about the instruction. Then evaluation. When you evaluate your students, you are teaching learning practices. So that time, good practices. Which good practices are required? Don't blame ki we are not getting this facility, we are not getting that facility. But you should start as a thinker, as a social thinkers. You can start the thinking on your good practices. Which good practices are relevant for my student? So use that practices. Good practices means those practice give the good outputs, good learning outcomes. That is known as the good practices. Then types of assessment. So which type of assessment? The summative, formative, or the holistic type of assessment, or the continuous, comprehensive, continuous type of the assessment. And for that, in the evaluation part, the training is must for the evaluation of our system, of our students, of our educational system. So when you train, or we provide the training facility to our teacher how to evaluate it. Take the suggestion from your teacher and do the group work and provide the training. According to me, I have suggested every schools have their own training module, because every school environment, school management, school facilities, physical structure are different. So according to that, you should provide the training. Then learning outcomes. Now in the learning outcomes, which topics are relevant to your research work? First one is the learning environment. Which learning environment you have to provide, or your management, your institute, which learning environment they are providing to us. Say, according to that learning environment, we have to study on that part. Then policy implications. Which policy? How to implement that policy? Suppose we are our policy, national 1986 education policy, and you should compare that the present national education policy 2020. There is a lot of changes. So according to this policy, you have to implications. See, the policies are always good, but the implication is important. How we implement it. And the third is very important area, that is according to the regional needs. What are the regional needs are required? According to the regional needs, you should implement the program. You should implement the policy. You should implement the various schemes and take the outcomes. So this is about the teaching and learning theme. Let's go to the next theme, that is the constitutional rights. Now, under the main theme, constitutional rights, I mentioned three parts, our constitutional rights. First one is the constitutional safeguards. Next one is the human rights. And third one is the fundamental rights. Now, under the constitutional safeguards, there are the various articles. So Article 13, Article 14, Article 15, Article 29, so Article 243. So there are the various articles in our Constitution. So can we study? We know what are the articles related to our rights. Can we aware about these articles? So you should do the study on the awareness and the various articles about the constitutional safeguards. When you studied this, so definitely you will get the solution. And every child should know the Constitution of India. Now the second part is human rights is very, very important. So under the human rights, what are the child rights? What are the women rights? What are the civil rights? So for this, what is the human right education? So you should study on these topics: human right education, child rights, women rights, social rights. And you should develop the various models of the human right education. How that models is very useful to your research work. So that is your research topic is very, very important and very good topic about human rights. And then fundamental rights. What are the duties, responsibilities of each and every citizen? What is the development of society? How you have to develop your society? So what are the programs you want to make it for the development of the society? And this how you have to make the programs. So fundamental rights help you to development of that program. And you have to create the various modules, various models, and implement it that model. That is the very good research topic for your study. Now let's come to the third topic, that is the disaster management. Now disaster management, I have categorized 3 sub-themes. It is the flood hazards model, training and mentoring the next generation, and flood mitigation framework. Now, in this pandemic or in this year 2020, we have get lot of disaster programs. Somewhere floods are there, somewhere tsunami are there. So for that, how we prepare, how we can prepare our students, our citizens, our teacher for that hazards, how we can save ourselves, what are the safeguards for that floods, for that tsunami. We should develop various models. We should provide the training modules, give the training through that model. Our safety is very, very important. And when we provide the awareness about the safety, awareness about the programs. So which program? So what kind of the things when you do it, so that time you have to save it. So that is very, very important. That's why the mitigation, flood mitigation framework is very, very important. Take the various examples. In India, there is a lot of examples, and through that example, you have to go through that example and you can create your own model and implement it, that model. So definitely it will be help for the sake of safety of yourself, safety of your society, and as well as the safety of your nation. So we can definitely cope up with that flood or any kind of the disaster. So this is the topic for the disaster management. Then gender and school. Now in the gender and school, I have mentioned 3 parts. That is, first, the gender discrimination in various activities. Now in the 21st century, we can discuss about the women rights, equality. But when you study and when you go the detail, so you can think on that is not the right to the women to education. She is not having any right to raise the voice, to ask the question. In the various states, the women positions are very good in the cities.
मॅम आवाज येत नाही. हॅलो हॅलो मॅडम. हॅलो हॅलो.
Education to the girls. This way, Seema?
हा मॅडम.
Okay. Now, the second one is the gender inequality in work organization. You can check or you can see, you can observe in the work organization, all the powers are in the hand of men. You can check the vice chancellors, the authority positions, always goes to the main category, not to the women category. The percentage is very, very low. I think that is the 0.1 or 0.2% is there. But at the higher positions, the men are preferred at the higher positions. The selection committee don't want to select the women for that positions. And the last important part is the role of men and women in the politics. Our Sustainable Millennium Development Goal is the gender equality. Can we have the gender equality? Few percent, we have definitely few percent. We cannot say that there is a no change. There is a stain, but the progress of that change is very, very low. Now, the next theme is inclusive education. In the inclusive education, there are the three main categories: inclusive classroom strategy, inclusive practices, and the technology-based education. Inclusive classroom strategies. There are some of the different kinds of the strategies. When your class is inclusive, inclusive means you have to include all the kind of the students. Those who are Divyang also, those who are some part is missing also. So you can involve all the students. And according to them, you have to finalize the classroom strategies. So which practices are required for the inclusive education? So study that practices. Think on that practices. Then technology-based education, it is one of the important assistive technology. So assistive technology is the very important for the inclusive education. So that kind of the technology you have to implement it. In the assistive type of technology, there are a lot of technology. And small technologies required. So what are that type of the technology? You have to study on that and do the research on that technology. How to use that technology? What is the impact of that technology? How effective that technology? So you can take this kind of the topic for the inclusive education. Then last but not the least, the governance. That is a very, very important role of our governance. Now in the governance, there are the four main areas. So what are that main areas? Planning, evaluation, finance, accountability. So these are the 4 areas about the governance. Let's take one by one question about the governance. Well, this is the very important topic and a very effective topic. So in the planning. Now in the planning, which kind of the program you have to plan? Means you have to study the planning builds these standards and the policies that ensure the achievement of the whatever the department is there, department. So under the planning, one of the question is, now in every state have a education department, and in that education department, so how can that education department determine effective standards for critical education resources for schools, community learning centers, and the other delivery units? Means here, the topics related to this, what are the programs through the education department are planned for the children education, for the community work, for the community engagement. And when they plan this program, they chalk out the plan. So automatically, through that planning, they improve the strategies. And when they plan, the important factor is the finance. Important factor is the finance. And without finance, you can plan anything and implement anything. So finance highlights the need to closely examine the effects and the financial management of the program. Now in the finance, when you have to plan, so what is the budget is required? So what kind of budgeting is required? You have to study on this. For example, this pandemic situation, how to provide the education through online education, how you can connect your students. So we can choose the Zoom app, various apps. We can choose TV, we can choose radio. But what is the funds of that program? How you can utilize that funds? So that is the main thing. So you have to definitely study on the finance part of the governance also. And the very, very important part is the accountability or program management and the accountability. So program management and the accountability, the program manager focuses on how the department can best develop, implement, and monitor the program, the projects, the various activities in that program. So what is the accountability of that program? The programmer is the teacher, the programmer is the management nominee, the programmer is the government nominee, whatever, who is there. So they are accountable. So what is the accountability of that teacher? What is the accountability of that program manager? What is the accountability of the government? What is the accountability of the officers, those who are related to that program? So you have to study this part also. And last but not the least, that is the evaluation part. When you plan one of the program, you have to study the finance, you have to study the accountability, then evaluation. How the program is effective. What are the causes of that effectiveness? How that program is effective? What are the causes? Which are the aspects related for the effectiveness of that program? So these are the very, very important topic for your research work. So thank you very much, Seema, for inviting me. Just one of